everyone, it's Professor 095 back with another deck review of Chronofang Tiger deck. This time I'm going to look at my also in real life deck as well of this deck. This is also going to be after the V-Clan collection volume 2, so with the additions of new guardians, with the additions of new cards, this is going to be like a much more complete, I would say, a complete deck profile, an updated deck profile, you could say, of my Chronofang Tiger deck. Yeah, so definitely keep that in mind. Keeping that in mind, I don't really include everything from the new set as well. So this is going to be like I only include just one card from the V-Clan selection, which is definitely the Hue Guardian. But the rest, some of them have familiar faces, as you can see, because most of them are staples. Others are new faces, obviously because this is a Chronofang Tiger deck. So last time I made a deck profile about Chrono Jet Dragon. Now this time I'm going to make a deck profile about Chronofang Tiger this time. So yeah, so before we dive into some of the important, we dive into the whole deck profile thing, I just want to say a few things first. So first things first, the main focus of this deck. As the main focus of this deck, this is very different from Chrono Jet Dragon, being that you don't really focus much on multi attacks as well, or like focus on high attacks and guard restricts. Although some cards in some card in this deck does have some sort of like a guard restrict mechanic, but I felt like Chrono Jet does it better thanks to the skill. This deck is going to focus more on pressure, especially on crits, especially on like powers as well. So the whole playstyle is going to be rather, I would say mundane. This is not going to be as exciting as Chronofang, but it's going to be fun as well, depending on what you're going to do with the combo, right? Also, I would also like to say something is that this deck is not really super meta as of the moment. I don't see much tournaments using this deck. I don't see much of the tournament results having this deck in the forefront, being that this is a very rather not a super meta deck. This is just a side deck, I would say, but I think it's also can qualify as a main deck as well. Definitely, if you can get your hands on a rather, if you can't get Chrono Jet, I think Chronofang also works best. But I also want to say that if you want to play this deck, I think you also have to start preparing yourselves against like very high powered, prepare yourself to face against very high powered decks, or rather like multi-attack decks such as like Axel Clans, for example, Hardcore Force, Go Paladin, etc. So due to like the very small hand size that this deck is going to eventually to have, thanks to Chronofang Tiger skills and the whole mechanic that surrounds it. So yeah. But nonetheless, it's still a fun deck personally for me. I like it. I love Gear Chronicle. So of course, definitely, I'm getting myself a Chronofang Tiger deck as well. So I've built this deck in real life, so there's already there's already a good enough reasons why I should play this deck already. If you can have the chance to play this deck, do get it, right? But without further ado, let's jump straight ahead to the deck profile, which is like the first things first. I'm going to explain the grade 4. This is the only grade 4 I'm playing. I'm not going to play Chronos Command. This is the only grade 4 I'm playing, which is Chrono Tiger Rebellion. So the skill is that when this unit attacks the Vanguard, this is on the Vanguard skill, obviously. You can activate all of the skills below, depending on how many cards in your hand. If you have 5 or less, you can get to choose two of your opponent's front and rear guards and retire it. If you have 3 or less cards during this turn, all of your front row units plus 3 of your front row units plus 10k. 1 or less, at the cost of like counter blasting everything, which means that you have to like turn all of your face up cards face down. And during this turn, this unit gets a continuous Vanguard skill. All of your opponent's guardians minus 5k shield. Again, this is a rather pressurizing deck as well. So you have like you get to retire, you get to power up, you get to guard like some sort of like guard minus, which is quite nice. Mainly because of the reason with you when you combo this with Chronofang Tiger skill, Chronofang Tiger skill makes it a whole lot turn much more devastating, especially when you have to like you get able to like force your opponent to guard with a lot of cards with their hand. So 5Ks essentially are useless. Grade 2s are useless. Intercepts are useless. 10k shields become 5k shields, 15k shields become 10k shields. So you probably have to like force a lot of like cards. The possibility of like forcing your cards to your opponent cards to force a lot of cards to guard Chrono Tiger Rebellion or any of the other regards, which is quite nice. Again, which is quite cool. But I also like to warn you is that you have to be very careful about the activating the last skill, because at the end of that turn you're going to end up yourself with about 4 or less card if you are not going to able to finish your opponent. So I would suggest that you have to use this card precautionally, but other than that, if you think that you can unless you're very sure that you can bring down your opponent in the first or second stride, or like second spear riding, I'm just gonna call it stride from here on out. Superior riding, striding is just the same mechanic, but nonetheless I'm just gonna use those terms in the same way, so keep that in mind. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's going to be put a lot of pressure on your opponent to like guard a lot, especially with how Chronofang Tiger is going to power up with like crit and another drive, which is quite nice. So with that ahead, I'm just gonna explain the only grade 3, well, not the only grade 3, but this is the main grade 3 I'm playing, which is Chronofang Tiger. So Act Phase Vanguard skill, choose just like Chrono Jet, just like Lost Legend, you choose one or more cards from your hand, which the total sum of the grades are grade 3 or higher, and you discard it. You search one grade 4 from your deck, spear ride it as stand, and then you shuffle your deck. At the end of the turn, you retire that grade 4, and then you choose one grade 3 from your soul and spear ride it as rest. So for this deck, again, I'm only playing Force 2. You can get to Force 1 definitely because of how much force markers you're gonna generate with like a lot of like spear ridings. But personally, I prefer to go with Force 2 because of all of the the second reason, right? Which is Chrono Tiger. When Chrono Tiger Rebellion is writes this unit, you choose one card from your hand, and during this turn your Vanguard +1 crit and +1 drive. So you can see how scary it is when you can combo it with Chrono Tiger Rebellion, essentially making Chrono Tiger Rebellion base power, not base critical of 3. So 3 crits and you get a triple drive. So which is quite scary, and which is also very pressurizing, which means that if you go first or if you probably go second, you're already able to force your opponent to dish out their Kanzen guards or dish out their PGs, or take 3 damage or take 4 damage, whatever it is, if you get a crit, depending if you can get a crit. So this deck obviously is not going to last long game. So as much as possible, try to finish this game. Try to like finish your opponent as much as possible, especially when you have these 2 ace vanguards, ace cards as well. So definitely be very careful if you are about to end your turn with like 5 cards or 4 cards. So yeah, tread carefully, but nonetheless it's still a very pressurizing deck to play, and I love it. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm just gonna go to my grade 2. So the first grade 2 I'm playing is Mono Module Dragon. The skill is that when a rear guard is placed, on the rear guard circle, when your Vanguard is placed, during this turn, this unit +5k, so essentially a 15k attacker. And if the Vanguard is if your grade 4 Vanguard is placed during this turn, you counter +1, and during this turn you +1 crit. Again, it is also a plus a 5k, and this is going to get another crit, so 15k double crit attacker. So again, with all of the crits, with all of the power up, I think it's also quite nice to use this skill as well. And if you can get to combo it with Chrono Tiger Rebellion at with 3 or less cards, this is essentially going to be a 25k. One tip I want to give you is that for you to play this card is that when you write Chronofang Tiger, and before you even spear ride, or before you even like quote unquote strike into Chrono Tiger Rebellion, just place on him first, just call him out first on your regular circle first, and then you can act to use Chrono Tiger skill, Chronofang Tiger skill, discard it, you Spear Ride the Grade 4, and voila, you can get the 5k, and then you counter +1 and you get another crit, which is quite nice. So the timing you should be correct. The timing should be right for this one. So yeah, I'm just gonna play 3 of it. I don't think I want to play 4. Yes, I think 3 is enough definitely. But if you want to play 4, go by all means go ahead, right? So that's that. So second grade 2 I'm playing is Steam Scarra Cup. So his skill is that Act Phase Vanguard Rearguard skill, counter +1, choose 1 card from your hand. During this turn, your Vanguard +1 drive. So on her own, if she's a grade 2 Vanguard, she can get a twin drive, which is quite nice. And if you can combo it with Chrono Tiger Rebellion as well, it's going to add up into 4 drives, which is even more scarier than before. So yeah, it's quite nice as well. Play 4 definitely staple as well, because also thanks to the skill of the second skill, which is the continuous hand. But this unit is discarded. This unit may be discarded, regarded as a grade 3. So again, since this card also focuses a lot on like spear riding, as most gear decks are, definitely, you probably need a lot of like strike forders as well, like what I would like to call quote unquote strike forders or like spear riders, the cost for you to spear ride. So you can have you need to like have play Lost Gear Dog and 8, and you have to play Air Cup. So both cards are equally important in this deck. So yeah, 4 is definitely fine, right? So with the third grade 2, this is Chronobite Tiger. The first skill that on the Vanguard skill, on the red Vanguard circle, on the beginning of your right phase, you draw 1 card and choose 1 card to discard. A second skill is that main phase, this is going to be on the rearguard circle. Once per turn, you choose 1 card from your hand and discard it. You choose a card from your hand and discard it, and during this turn, this unit +1 crit. Again, just like Mono Module is also a crit, it also enables you to get 1 crit. If you can combo this with Chrono Tiger Rebellion, essentially it's going to be a 20k +1 double crit. If you have a Force Marker on him, that's even better because it's going to be a 20k triple crit on the front, which is even more scarier, okay, than before. So it's quite nice. Yeah, again, this card is the most ideal right line for you. This is the ideal card for you to write, because you want to write, you want to draw, and you want to discard the cards so that you can get to activate Chrono Tiger Rebellion skill even faster, which is quite nice. So yeah, play 4 of these definitely. So with the grade 2s out of the way, let's go to the grade 1s, which is the first grade 1 I'm gonna play is Lost Gear Dog 8. 8 skill is that when this unit is placed on the Vanguard or Rearguard circle from your hand, you may reveal a grade 3 or higher card from your hand. Search your deck for 1 grade 3, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. And choose 1 card, or choose 1 or more cards which are grade 3 or higher, with the total sum of grade 3 or higher, and discard them, right? So again, you can search for Chronofang Tiger as well, as if you have Chronofang Tiger early, Chrono Tiger Rebellion early in your hand, or if you have a Hill Guardian early in your hand, you can probably use this cost to find Gear Tiger, Chronofang Tiger, or if not, if you don't want to find Chronofang, you can search for Hill Guardian, although I wouldn't do that definitely. But nonetheless, it's still a good skill. It's a grade 3 searcher. Why not? Right? So the second skill, just like Air Cup, is going to be regarded as a grade 3 when it is discarded. So again, play like you need to play a lot of like strike forders in this one. Although for me personally, 3 is okay for me, because I want to make space for one more grade 1, which I'm going to show you on later on. But if you want to play 4, by all means go ahead. If you want to, you can play this card. It's up to you, however you want to play this deck. But I guess 4 is enough, I guess. 4 is definitely the right way to go, or if not, 3 is enough, right? Yeah, so the second grade 2 I'm going to play is Chrono 2 Stiga. So Chrono 2 Stiga skill is that when this unit, on the Vanguard circle, at the beginning of your right phase, you get to draw 1 card. So again, it gets essentially for you to get like draw 2 cards in one turn. So at the beginning of stand and draw, you get to draw 1 card, and then from Chrono 2's on skill, you get to draw 1 card, which is quite nice. So you can have like additional draw power, etc. So quite nice for you to have this card on your deck. This will be your ideal right line for Chronofang Tiger as well. And in this deck as well. But the second skill is that when this unit is discarded from your hand during your turn, you may counter +1 and draw 1 card, and you Superior Call this card as rest. Right, so So it's also a free rear guard, and it also allows you to like draw one, and you can get to counter blast one, which is quite nice because you want to activate Chrono Tiger Rebellion skill without using like 4 counter blasts, for example. So the more counter blasts you use in this deck, the better, right? You just use it on the right places. Just use it on your cup. Just use it on mono module. Just use it on Chrono Bite Tiga, Chrono 2 Tiga. If you can focus on this, I don't think you'll be finding any problems of like you don't need to be like super worried about like turning all of your face up cards face down when you're using Chrono Tiger Rebellion skill, so which is quite nice. And you also get the free Spirit Calling, which is also quite good, right? So with my third grade 3, which is Steam Maiden Rebu. So Rebu's skill is that when this unit is discarded from your hand, discarded from your hand during this turn, during your turn, okay, you soul blast one, and you can superior call herself, and then during this turn she plus 5k. And after that, you can choose one normal unit from your drop zone, return it to the bottom of the deck and draw one card. Again, even though with the draw engine, you still get to return. You still can like Spirit Call. She still can Spirit Call herself plus 5k. So it's actually a 13k attacker, a 13k booster. It's fine, which is quite nice. And if you have like a lot of like Chrono Tiger Rebellion in your Chrono Tiger Rebellion in your drop zone, you probably can just use that and return it to the bottom, which is quite nice. Allow you for more, which means that you have more chances for you to like strike into great for Chrono Tiger Rebellion again, as much as you need. So yeah, definitely a staple. Play 4 of this. Definitely, I love this card. Definitely a staple. Gear Chronicle, really, probably like one of the most MVP cards for Gear Chronicle as well. So play 4 of her. Don't play less than 3. Play 4 definitely. Right. So for my next great one, which is Steam Breath Dragon. So the first skill, continuous Vanguard Rearguard skill during your turn. If you discarded the hand, if you discarded a card from your hand during this turn, this unit plus 5k. Again, I played this for the reasons that I want to like minimize my card, like minimize my hand size, and also get power. So again, this is going to be a 13k attacker, 30k booster, which is quite nice. I love it. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard or Rearguard circle, look at top 5 of your cards of your deck, search for one grade 3, reveal it to your opponent, and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and then you choose one card from your hand and discard it. So again, you can just to discard, just to like search for Chronofang Tiger, put it into your hand, and then you get to shuffle, and then you like get to like discard a card from your hand, which is quite nice. So you probably don't want to draw too much in this deck. So in order for you to like activate Chrono Tiger Rebellion skill as much as possible. But yeah, that's that. So Steam Breath Dragon is the way to go. I think you can probably tag in like some other cards as well, but I felt like Steam Breath is the way to go. I like him, so it's like a 13k attacker, 13k booster. Depending on how you want to play him, it's fine, right? So that's all for my grade 1s. Moving on to my grade 0s, of course, my starter, my first Vanguard is going to be Chrono Tiga. When this unit is ridden, you draw one card, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 1 higher, you choose one quick ticket from your get a quick ticket and add it to your hand. Again, it's quite nice. The Chronofang Tiger's starter, play just one, of course. Definitely is going to be a starting Vanguard. I don't think you're gonna play more than one, definitely. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's moving on to the triggers. So first things first, as you can see, I'm playing the Time Tracking Dragon, which is the new Hue Garden for the for Gear Chronicle from the newest set, V-Clan Collection set, Volume 2. Again, there's a lot of again, the Hue Guardians for Gear Chronicle is an absolute godsend by Bushi. Thank you, Bushiro, for like printing this in grade 3, because right now thanks to the existence of this card, this deck is even more consistent than before. Thanks to the level of like a grade 3, you can discard it for your like the strike for your like spear riding, and you can use it for like the cost of like Gear 8 to look for another like Chronofang Tiger in your deck, which is quite nice, right? Aside from being a heal, aside from being a grade 3, Definitely you're going to lose a 5k minus 5k shield from the original heal triggers, which is a grade 0, but nonetheless I think the effects of this card outweighs the benefits of this card outweighs those 20k heal shields. So the first skill is that when this unit is called to the Guardian Circle from your hand, if you did not write a grade 3 during this fight, keep that in mind. If you do not write a grade 3 during this fight, you may activate one of the effects below. So you choose one of your Vanguard, and this during this turn it costs 10k. So if you're on the grade 2 Vanguard, you can probably give it to 10k to your grade 2 Vanguard and make it 20k. So you can probably try to block off, or like you try to can minimize like most attacks from a lot of decks as well. So which is quite good. So the second skill is that you choose second skill. You can only activate one of these. You can only activate one of these, either two of these skills, right? Either you want to plus 10k, or you get a minus critical 2. You either get the crit minus, right? So the second skill is that then you choose one of your opponent's units, and during this battle it gets minus 2. So even if the power crit minus 2, so even if the power is much more bigger than you, there's no point to it if there's no critical for them to like deal a damage, so which is quite nice. So I find this really helpful as well. So the second skill is that when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, is placed on the rearguard circle from your hand. If you have 0 damage cards in your damage zone, you put the top card of your damage. Into your damage zone. I don't see myself using the second skill as often, so definitely I'm playing that for the purpose of like a first skill, especially if I'm going against like rush decks. Then Heal Guardians are definitely the perfect card for me to like defend myself early game, so that I don't like die early, you know. But nonetheless, it's still a good grade 3, still a good Heal Guardian. Thank you, Bushiro, for making this a thing. So yeah, there's that. For this one, again, even though I emphasize on the part of like don't draw too much on this deck, but I still play the draw sentinels as well. I only play 2. So the skill is that it's like a PG. Again, PG allows you for you to like block off all any attacks, whatever it is, at the cost of discarding a card from your hand, and blocks all attacks, right? This is going to be helpful for some reasons. One, I play this card is because I have no idea what am I going to face with like a lot of different decks nowadays. So I think it's better for me to like take 2 PGs and just defend myself as much as I can, especially if I'm going to against a very high powered clan. So this is going to be like a guaranteed no hits for my Vanguard. So yeah, there's that. And it's a draw. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, so I think that's all for my draw triggers. Again, for my sentinels, this is going to be my second sentinel, which is Toki Toki Worker, Hattam Worker. It's a grade 0 as a critical trigger, which is quite nice, and it's a 30k shield. So 30k shield is quite amazing already on its own for you to like defend yourself. But then the best thing is that you don't have to discard a card from your hand, unlike the PG. So again, since this deck relies heavily a lot of like non-drawing power, like non-drawings, and as you want to pressure most of your opponent most of the time, I think it's best if you want to play 4. Unless you're already like confident, like you can block off most of your opponent's attacks, etc. With like with a PG, I think this is okay as well. 30k shield is quite nice on its own. You don't have to discard anything. It's just like right there, right? 30k and you're done. Play 4 if you really want to be like super pressurizing and like go all out on this one. I think play 4 is not a problem, right? Even though I play 2, I have like I have my doubts about facing a lot of like very super OP decks, etc. Right? So that's that. Yeah, and for the rest of it, I'm just gonna play 8 crit Ring Worker, Reclaim Key, Draco Kid. You can substitute either one of these for like Steam Bomber Eagle, but nonetheless, that's all of it. Since Gear as a force deck does not have an axle trigger, front trigger does, so there's no reason why for you to play front triggers. Or rather, you can't even put a front trigger in this deck, so you have to end up like 8 crits. Definitely 8 crits are guaranteed in this deck. Yeah. So that's probably it for my Chronofang Tiger skill, Chronofang Tiger deck profile. I'm sorry, kind of like misspoke there for a bit. But nonetheless, again, the attack the numbers of attack is not going to be as much as Chronojet Dragon, as I can pull it off, with like Rebull or like any other cards. So again, some of the cards that requires emphasis on like discarding Chronofang Tiger, Earcup, Chronobite, Steam Breath, Chrono Diga skill, all of them are really essential for you to like either you want to replenish your hand with like Earcup, sorry, excuse me, either with Earcup or Chronobite Tiga, or you probably want to like discard more hands as much as possible just in order for you to activate Chrono Tiger Rebellion skill. I think the less, so definitely the definitions of like the less the better, right? The lesser the better, so which is quite okay, it's quite good. But again, you have to be very mindful about like the what are you going to do after if like the opponent has successfully blocked out all of your Chrono Tiger Rebellion's attack and the rest of these boys here that can finish, that can help you uh, finish the games and boost your games, discard your hand very fast. Again, hand discarding is also important in this deck as well. So discard the most very important ones or the very redundant ones. So if you have Ear Cup, discard it as much as possible. If you have like Chrono Tooth, you have to discard it as much as possible. The maximum again, unlike Chronojet, the maximum level of like the attacks that you can make is only 3. So I would usually pump all of my force. I usually like pump my force 2 to the vanguard, and then to another rear guard, to another rear guard. So front row rear guard is going to get an one force marker 2 if I can make it. So it's going to add like a whole lens of pressure to the opponent for them to like guard, to consider whether or not they want to guard or not, right? Because definitely it's gonna be very scary, and it's probably going to be like a lot of shield that's going to be sacrificed for this one. So yeah, I think that's all for my deck profile for today. If you have any other questions, or if you have like any other suggestions that you want that you can see from my deck profile, kindly leave a like. And drop a comment down below on what I should do better. What should I switch? Is this deck good enough for you? Yeah, I would like to hear your opinions in the comment section below. So without further ado, I think that's all. I think that's all for my Gear Chronicle Chronofang Tiger deck profile. With that, I would like to end this video right here, right now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you very much. This has been Professor 095 signing out.